my 4-step process for identifying outcomes. Learning objective for this video is the specific steps I use to identify the tangible outcomes needed for any project. So here's a bit of a summary of the 4 steps. First, identify the business objective. Second, identify the key results. Third, identify what design thinking exercise will achieve those key results. And then fourth, review everything and make sure it makes sense. And we're going to dive into each one of those. So step 1, business objective. What is the business goal that we are actually trying to achieve? How are we moving the business forward? Let's be clear on that first. And it has to be something that's very tangible, right? Anyone can see if it's been achieved or not. It's a yes or no question of whether it's been achieved. So what does that look like? Well, let's dive into some examples here. So one type of business objective might be to grow market share by 10%. Another business objective that the company might have is to increase the value of the product by $50. Another type of business objective can be increase the lifetime value of clients by 15%, or maybe they just want to reduce the churn. And these are just some business objectives, right? But the idea is, and every business is going to have different objectives that they want to work on or are currently working on. So we need to be really clear about what are the business objectives, how is the business growing and doing better. Next is to identify the key results for those. So how do we actually get to the objective, right? A little bit of the map to get there. Identify the milestones that would move the objective forward. And to be really clear, these are outcomes, not activities. We'll talk about the activities later, but for this, we need to get really specific on what the outcomes are. So some examples, right? Grow market share by 10%. Perhaps a key result to get there is to identify a new type of customer to market to, right? That's how we can grow our market share. Or if we want to increase the value of our product by $50, maybe we add a new benefit to our product, right? Something that increases the product's value. Another thing is to increase the lifetime value of clients by 15%. So maybe we add a new service to our current product. Or we want to reduce churn to 5%. And so we improve 3 areas in our services. So these are the results that we're trying to hit in order to achieve the objective. Then we add design thinking. Now that I know the results and the outcome, now it's identify design thinking exercises to get to that outcome. Now it's going to be a lot more clear. So design thinking, you look at it kind of third phase. So adding design thinking. So some examples. Let's say grow market share by 10%, identify a new type of customer market to. Maybe we do user interviews with people who have similar problems that we help solve, but aren't using our product. So let's say you're a company that provides products to people who do yoga. Well, maybe you interview people who do Pilates, or you interview people who do CrossFit, right? Not people who do yoga, but might have similar problems that you could potentially help solve to identify a new type of customer to grow your market share. Increase the value of the product by $50. You want to add a new benefit to the product. So maybe you prototype 6 different benefits and see which one solves the customer problem in a way that is easy and desirable. So say it's a software that helps with social media marketing. Well, maybe a new benefit that you find is that you are able to print out a report of the data, but not just the data. The data also gives you very, very clear, specific action items or behaviors you can do to increase your results for your social media marketing. Maybe you didn't have that benefit before, and now you're able to do that, right? So that increases the value of the product itself. All right, another example is increase lifetime value of clients by 15%, add a new service to the current product. Maybe you prototype a sales deck of 6 services, present them to customers to see which ones they want the most, and ask for a down payment, right? If they'd be willing to put up money right then and there. So a great example could be a bike company, right? So they sell bikes, they do really well with that, and they want to increase the lifetime value. So maybe one of the things that they now offer is a scheduled maintenance for your bike. So it might be a subscription model where you pay every 3 months regularly, and then you can bring in your bike to repair it or to do like a maintenance on it. So now you're increasing the lifetime value of your clients because you added a new service to the current product. Again, this is just an example. Reduce churn to 5%. So you improve 3 areas in your service, and how do you do that? You create a journey map and have users share what part of the process are most painful for them. So maybe you notice over time that people leave after 3 months. That's a big drop-off point when people leave the service. So maybe you provide a thing where in 10 weeks, you meet with people to get them realigned on their goals so that then they stay longer rather than leaving at the 3-month part, right? So that's an area that you can improve to help reduce the churn. These are just examples, but we're really getting clear on what is the business outcome, what are the things we need to, or what are the, business outcome, what are the results we need to get, and then get clear on the design thinking exercise. Now you have a real purpose to the design thinking exercise rather than just doing it blindly, which is what I used to do all the time. And then step 4, review everything and make sure it makes sense. I look back and ask, does everything make sense and is it within my capabilities, right? If I map those things out, is it clear? Does it make sense? If it's a yes, we're good to go. Then the objective and key results are clear and so is my path forward. If it's a no, I try to identify what doesn't make sense and what would be a better path forward. So after you do that, many companies use this format and it's called OKRs, Objective Key Results. You might have heard this, you might have not. And if you want to learn more about it, there's a book called Measure What Matters that goes into detail and provides examples. It was one of those books where I read a couple of pages, I got it pretty quickly, and then I just looked at the back for some examples, and I get it really quickly. So you don't have to really read the whole book, but you can if you really want to. So I want to share a little bit more of an example of what I've done with this whole process, with this online course that you're a part of. So my objective was to increase yearly revenue by 25% by launching an online design thinking course that is unlike any in the market. My key results to achieve my objective: identify the user's problems with design thinking online courses, move forward with challenges that align with my capabilities, identify their dream outcome, create a compelling offer, and develop an MVP of the product or service. So let's go a little bit more into the exercises I did to get the results. So the first key result, identify the user's problem with design thinking online courses, right? That was the first thing I needed to do. So my first design thinking exercise I did was desktop research. Here's an example. A lot of about, know, how to. At the end of the course, I didn't build any practical skills I could take back to my job. In other words, I didn't learn anything I couldn't find on YouTube or Reddit for free. And this was a 1-star review of an online course. So I dove into the research, and this made it much more tangible for the outcomes to get to the business results I was looking for. Right? So it makes it very clear of how you build out your process so you make design thinking much more applicable. So let's just get back to core principles here. Be clear on what tangible outcomes you are looking for first and the results needed to get there. Then pick which design thinking exercise will help you get the results you need. So just a quick review: identify the business objective, get the key results, the design exercises that will help you achieve those results, and review everything and make sure it makes sense.